Hello, everyone. I'm Renown Zero, and we are back again talking about some more people who seem to be clearly upset with the fact that Air July is calling out the nonsense about books being late, stuff not being on time, and the fact that people still believe that he isn't about indie comics and doesn't care about the indie scene whatsoever. But in this video, I'm going to prove to all of you that clearly he does. When he goes around doing things and there are some people that are upset about it, clearly. So jumping right in here with the Alpha Core #1 campaign, just going to do a quick refresh. Currently sitting at $1.184 million, just under 16K until 1.2 million with over 12,000 purchasers and over 20.5K books sold. You can still back the campaign. The campaign ends on January 20th, which is another thing that people don't realize. And also, you can back the books or buy the books, I should say, after the campaigns end. They'll be available in the Rippaverse store, which right now you can get ISOM 2 to see that. Rippaverse Comics hoodies, shirts, posters, etc., etc. Moving on over as usual to Blade Devil 2, Chains of Blood. Everything will be in the description for things like Blade Devil 2, Blade Devil 1, Death. All that stuff will be in the description below. Get 69 pages of story. You get to choose from 3 different covers. These are the interior art pages here. 69 pages of story, 2 supplemental stories, 1 here and 1 here, as I always say. Cover A is right here, comes with a trading card. Cover B right here comes with the trading card. Cover C right here comes with the trading card. The limited summer wraparound cover, which is a cover that basically wraps around the entire book, you will get a card right here. And if you join the pre-launch, sign up for the pre-launch, and back to physical perk, you will receive a rain card. I absolutely bought all 4 covers, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. If you want to jump in on Blade Devil 1, we absolutely have this right here. Sick Fox Studios Unlimited. You can jump in on covers A, B, and C, as they're called, battle damage. Unfortunately, they won't be the foil cover as in the original campaign, but you will still get a book. It's pretty lengthy. Has a lot of pages, like a bestiary at the end, and you can get it for just $10. Moving on over to Death by John Ball. You can see right here at 88K, 1,100 backers. Still made more money than Super Killer. Still a better looking book than Super Killer. Just had to throw that jab in there. You can get the 3-pack for the color, line art, and manga. Or if you just prefer the manga, you get 8 for $18. You get a 300-page graphic novel. For $30, you get a hardcover. Keep in mind, it's a hardcover 300-page line art book for $30, or a hardcover color edition for $45. Color cover here, color page here, line art page here, manga page here. Now, we're going to be moving over to what started all this for today, right here from Kenny Coria, who says exactly, my interaction with someone about how Eric didn't solely rely on the indie comic scene and hence why he had a larger reach and found more success. His response was that it was, quote, ridiculous that I'd expect other creators to build up their audience as Eric did. My response. So this guy says, yeah, that's a ridiculous statement. You can't expect writers and comic artists to build a following from music and politics, law, or even YouTube. It seems to me that there are other comic artists like Shane Davis, Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, etc. have all built YouTube channels and all have built an audience on YouTube. Clearly, if they can do it, you should be able to as well. His success has nothing to do with his actual initial product. It's his name that sold his product. Yes, because he brought in a group of people that seem to be now enthusiastic about a product that he put out after building an audience for 18 years. Just like when a politician released a book, which is fine, to which Kenny responds by saying, right, so not solely dependent on the indie comic scene. No one is demanding that your favorite indie creators go build up their audience through other means, just that you shouldn't be surprised when your reach is limited and for a niche of a niche audience. To which Eric responds, that screenshot is telling, at least, but it's not that we expect people to spend 18 years building their own brand and independence like I did. It's that, quote, in parentheses, sorry, for some reason, others want a similar result having done nothing comparable. Or worse, they feel I'm undeserving. Now, he's generalizing that people are undeserving, but this person took it seriously. From Immortal Rising Comics, he says, he said you're undeserving. I can't find that. Can you point it out? You say you leveraged 17 years of entrepreneurial pursuits into this project. He's acknowledging that. Let me guess. He's a jealous commie too. You could have made a different product. but you chose a comic because he's enthusiastic and he's passionate about the comic industry and the fact that people have taken over and want to essentially destroy the characters that people love, the escapism that people love. You don't even read indies or participate in the community out here grinding as beginning entrepreneurs except as drama fodder. Well, he promoted Razor Fist, he promoted Drunk 3PO, he promoted Kevin, he promoted Mike Barron. The Kevin guy, I can't really say his last name too well. Just continue promoting a few already large money campaigns and leave the small guys alone if you find us irrelevant or a nuisance. Again, Razor Fist, not a big guy. Drunk 3PO, not a big guy. But he promoted them. You're not helping the marketplace. Save your bootstraps and pie platitudes and keep walking. Never claimed that, and I think you should maybe ask for my positions instead of guessing them, which is what a certain amphibian, who is not EVS, does all the time. They claim to know their opponent's position when they really don't. They claim that they're 2 steps ahead while not understanding their opponent's position before talking. They just assume what their opponent's position is without actually asking what their opponent's position is. If not for Air July and Ethan Van Sciver says Wookiee be bad, I wouldn't have spent 1K plus on indie comics, not including theirs. So let the big guys drop a little light on you and learn to promote and be savvy. Just making a book don't mean shit. Also, always be grateful, dude. Just funded you. You know how many people would be excited. Yes, because right here it says, hey man, I clicked on your page and noticed you had an active campaign. You only had 10 backers in 6 months. So what I did was essentially fund your campaign, of course giving a tip to fund my comic. Here's what I'd like you to do. Work on your attitude because it is in a terrible spot. Being small does not make you admirable, nor does it justify your attitude towards creators that have worked extremely hard to get where they're at. Dismissing or attempting to devalue their efforts is such a tone-deaf thing to do and will only turn people off your project. Now it's turned me off to the project because I actually looked at it. It looked pretty decent. You could have made a different product was a moronic way to approach this. Lastly, there is no, quote, the community as it pertains to independent comics. The clique you're around are not the only people that exist, and it is arrogance to operate as if it does. Arrogant. To tell someone they don't participate or they don't help the marketplace, despite them employing more people in comics than you ever have, is incredibly stupid. You are in no position to be as dismissive and disrespectful as you are. Your project is funded, and I do not want your items. I just want you to get to work, go be great, and work on your attitude. Good luck. Keep your money and your insults. I don't need either. That's a storefront for me. Here's what I'd like you to do. You can address anything I said. We could do it in DMs unless you need the drama fodder for your brand, which he doesn't. Your storefront is funded. This isn't drama. You just oddly injected yourself and said some off-the-wall things. Your point was addressed in the OP, the original post, largely made up of things I've never claimed, positions I don't have, and disrespect of the hard work I've done to get to this point, and our efforts in comics. If you need any advice, absolutely reach out to me via contact. Other than that, just get to work and be great. He doesn't want your money because he doesn't want to acknowledge you're helping the indie comic scene more than most people. That or he's lazy and didn't want to do it in the first place. Time will tell. Yeah. So what ended up happening was that the man actually refunded it, right? It was for this right here. It's for his Immortal Comics storefront. This is what he refunded, right? To which I said to this person, because he stated this, right? One thing I learned this year as an indie creator, if someone doesn't like me, it's because they're jealous and probably a commie and nazi. It has nothing to do with me. Until next time, losers. To which I responded by saying, continue crying and not being humble. I'm sure that will get you more customers. This gives off feminine vibes. For you to sit up here and cry about this all day. Just like Richard Embry, just like Vito. They do this thing all the time where they consistently cry about stuff. Right? See, it's right here. But, as I said, people like Richard Embry want to be up here and say, July just paid $700 to silence a creator. Imagine how he had to pay the International School of Ministry to do the same. To which I say to him, because I say to him all the time, focus on your craft and stop crying about everything and stop feeding in the drama and constantly being involved in the drama. Just work on your stuff. I said, imagine how many more customers you would have if you would just shut the fuck up and stop crying like a woman about Eric every day. Because this is essentially what Vito does too. He does it right here as well. Eric gave a guy $700 so he could lecture him about not respecting the Riververse enough. No, that is not what happened. What the guy did was essentially disrespect the fact that he came out of nowhere, which he put in the work, and saying that Eric didn't put in the work where he did. This is not what happened. Stop the BS, bro. Eric is essentially telling him to humble himself. That is what Eric is doing. He's telling the man to humble himself rather than coming out of his face and saying all this nonsense. I've been disrespecting the Ripperverse since day one. Where's my payday? Cope. That's your payday. Cope. Of course, he also says this. Also, the campaign was already funded on Indiegogo with 106 backers, so Eric's attempt to shame the guy for lack of support looked quite dumb. So, he was funding his storefront, not the book. Funding the storefront. Of course, we have Dicky Boy right here. Lol, he's trying to buy his way into heaven now. Again, 24 likes. No one cares what you have to say. You have such a huge platform with 29.3k followers, and yet no one seems to give a crap unless you're talking about Eric. Lol, I would get endlessly reading down various forums people found out I did something pathetic in that way. He funded it on Fund My Comic. No matter what that guy does, you will find a problem with it. You've turned Eric July hate into a grift. It's actually beyond pathetic at this point. True. Throw these guys some love. Yeah, they're terrible, terrible puppet shows. Really should not be funded by the enemy. No. Why anyone would fund their enemy is beyond me. The pedo is still riding Eric's coattails via mentions. Yep, sure is. He sure is. And then we have Gary from Nervotic who puts out this very good tweet, right? Good news. All of those indie comic creators that have time to bitch about Eric July must be done with their books that you paid for. You should be seeing them all soon. Probably not because, of course, Win is Super Killer. Which Vito says they know ISOM is terrible, so the only way Eric's friends can save face after promoting it so hard is to shift the conversation and make it seem like the fact that it was quickly rushed out the door full of errors is actually a good thing. Don't fall for it. To which I said, does this hit close to home for you? Gary doesn't wear merch for things he doesn't like. Continue to cope and see if hashtag Win is Super Killer. Because that's the only thing I'm really going to respond to you if it's Win is Super Killer. Because you keep on crying and doing exactly what Gary just said. Bitch and cry every single day about Eric rather than finishing your project. So she also says, luckily the general comic buying audience is too smart to fall for Eric's flim-flam. Everyone knows crowdfunding delivery dates are estimated. It says so right on the page. That doesn't give you the right to not constantly update your customer base when you've already taken their money. That's not an excuse. Because right in here, it sounds like you're making an excuse for your own failure to not deliver on time, to always have to constantly delay your product, while in the first one, basically, you put it out there that you would rather quote unquote troll Eric July than finish your product. And then in the second latest update you decided to say some very questionably racist stuff towards Eric. And then try to say that the artists that he has on his work are essentially slaves to Eric. Gross. Nobody has been misled. Creators make their best guess as to when the book releases, essentially. To which I respond by saying, luckily the general public is too smart to listen to you and fall for your BS. Hashtag When is Super Killer. Moving on over to Hora Murata, who gives a great point among all this nonsense out there. Shout out to Hora Murata, by the way. To which she says, people are absolutely losing their minds because a certain creator who has seen success has dared to speak out about the obvious and much complained about problems in the indie comic sphere. So many people have their asses chapped because multiple someones with large audiences have called attention to their failing. If you finish your commitment, great. You are not who people like Nerdrotics and Eric July are talking about. You are finding your own success and should be proud of yourself, as opposed to envious of someone who found their success with a slightly different method. However, if you find yourself as one of these people who are literally crying because a known issue is being addressed and have more eyes put on it, maybe you need to take some time for self-reflection and see what you can fix to better yourself as opposed to trying to drag other people down. 100%. GG's to you, Hora Murata. Of course, people are not really fond of me talking about this and calling out their BS, right? Said, oh brother, this is going to age poorly. Yeah, because it aged about as poorly as me talking about the trademark lawsuit when I said for months that it was going to be a nothing burger and it was going to be frivolous and that it was ended up being settled out of court as originally something I've kind of said. That's what they said the last time when I talked about the trademark lawsuit against Eric. How'd that go? Oh yeah, it was settled out of court, and Eric got to continue using the ISO name, which is something that Vito is still constantly coping over. Remember, you want to get customers like Bruce here. Shout out to Bruce, by the way. You want to get customers like Bruce excited and ecstatic about your product, and you want people like him to back your product because this man really drops money. To which Bruce says, after Eric brought me here as a customer, I backed a solid dozen indies from renewed interest. Now that many, now not that many have proven they care more about drama and pretend to be baby hamsters that you need to acknowledge. I'm done with most. Oh, and I drop money. Yes, that's the biggest issue I have. These people that claim to back indie products and they never show receipts. They always claim that they back this book, yet they never show receipts of backing the book, and they never show receipts of actually holding the book in their hand, which is a big problem I have with these people who like to come at me saying that all I back is ISO. Meanwhile, I can show receipts. I've shown receipts actually every single time that I've backed a book and every single time that I've gotten a book. So once we find out, like I said, the guy did retract the fund. Nope, it looks like he refunded me the money. From what I see, fund my comics still as a tip, which is good, but the exact amount I gave this gentleman has been refunded. Hopefully, he takes the advice anyway. I wish him well. So what Eric decided to go ahead and do is back 3 smaller projects, right? The 3 projects are funded and backed. May you all be great and continue with the grind. These are the 3 projects here, right? And of course, like I said, he brings the receipts, which is exactly what I do. I bring the receipts whenever I back something or whenever I receive something. So here's the receipt for Project Naosis, Volume 1 trade paperback, putting down $1,000 like it's nothing. Same thing here. Put down $1,300 to Jisedai comic number 1, which I will leave links to all of these comics in the description of this video. Putting down $1,000 on, there you go, Voluntaryist suit Saga 1 by Jack Lloyd. You can see the project here, Project Naosis, Jisedai right here over on From My Comic, and Voluntaryist right here. So, but if at any point Eric July does get to see this video, which it's kind of crazy, shouted me on today's live stream, which is absolutely amazing, which again is that organic growth that he's talking about all the time, where you just kind of do your thing and put yourself out there, and when people notice you're doing good things, they'll notice and shout you out. But I'd like to draw attention to Black Rhapsody Part 1. I think this book looks fantastic, by the way. It's currently sitting at 9,691, 260 backers. If you're looking for another project to give some money to, I recommend this one, or when Infinitale Chronicles 2 drops on Indiegogo, I have, big aspirations for this one. Infinitale Chronicles is awesome. It looks amazing. And this guy has pretty much been humble. And he's talked to me privately and been nothing but great to me. So, Infinitale Chronicles 2, when that drops on Indiegogo, if you see this video, like I said, this would be an awesome book to fund. At the end of the day, stop trying to tell people where to spend their money. Stop trying to criticize Eric for not helping indie comics, even though he promotes them all the time. And please, for the love of God, shut the fuck up and work on your projects. You're never going to get your projects done if you're going to just sit up here and cry about Eric all day. And nobody wants to see you continue to do that. They want to see you finish your projects, because if you continue to go down this path, you're never going to get your project done, and people are going to be less likely to back you in the future. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button and comment below what you feel about everything. Subscribe for more content and hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all notifications. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or go live. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.